Do people in Canada have cable, like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's? At Kyle's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolars.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening.
What is going on, guys, and welcome to another episode of the NordCast. It is Thursday, October 24th, 2024. I am your host, Nordic, here with Carter. Carter, how we doing?
Doing great. We're also doing bad. A little mix of both today, but hey, we'll keep it rolling.
Why are we doing bad? What's happening, Carter?
Well, on the one hand, we got one of my teams doing good, and on the other hand, we got another one of my teams doing bad. So, a lot of mixed emotions right now.
Yeah, it really is a mix of emotions. This is episode number 76. No Jack yet again, guys. He is not around for this one. Still grinding it out in college as per usual.
I will say it is my fault. We were supposed to record on Tuesday, but I was unable to. So yeah, you were gonna get your taste of Jack, probably on an episode that dropped on Wednesday. But unfortunately, as you all can probably tell, that did not happen.
Yeah, that definitely did not happen. So we'll see when the next time Jack is on. Maybe next week, maybe not. We shall see. But anyways, let's get into our regularly scheduled program. So we'll start off with the Frozen Frenzy. Carter, first off, did you watch any of the Frozen Frenzy?
No, I had hockey and I was unable to. And I heard it was good though. There was a lot of good games, but there's also a lot of snooze fests and blowouts. There
was a lot of good games, but I would say that this year's Frozen Frenzy, this is the only one that's happening this year. I looked and tried to see if there was another one, but there is not. So apparently, Carter, would it surprise you that the numbers from last year are better than this past year's? It's worse. It got worse this year.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
So the average of the Frozen Frenzy games lowered from 2023. The show that they were doing on ESPN, I believe, was down 57%. So I'll read a little bit more into it here. So ESPN's triple header averaged 381,000 views, down 11% from 2023, which is 430K. The Frozen Frenzy Whip Around show from on ESPN2 averaged just 83,000 viewers from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. and down 57% from last year. Through 13 games, ESPN and TNT Sports were averaging 431,000 viewers this season, down 29% from this point last year, 600K. It's important to note that the NBA opening night was also on Tuesday, yet still, these opening numbers to start 2023-24 are very poor for the NHL. So, Carter, let me ask you a question. Why are the numbers down?
NBA. The NBA is still the premier outside of the NFL. The NBA is still the most premier sport in America. In Canada, it's still hockey. Hockey will reign supreme for as long as it's around. But you can't compete with the NBA opening. It's hard. If it was like a regular NBA slate on like a Tuesday, maybe you could compete with them and put up even or even better numbers than the NBA, but you're not competing with them on opening night. It's like if the NBA did this on a Thursday night for Thursday Night Football opening NFL. It'll never happen because the season starts earlier, but it'd be pretty much like that. Numbers would be down in the NBA, and it would not touch the NFL. So it's just because it was opening day. Bad scheduling. It just kind of sucks that this is like supposed to be a big thing for the NHL, and it just wrong day, wrong time, wrong place, and I would hope that the numbers before the first NBA game tip-off were doing pretty good. But I don't know what those numbers are because they only track it from the start, but I would assume that NBA kind of took a huge chunk of the viewers there because it's the NBA.
Yeah, not smart. It wasn't very smart to do this on NBA opening night, even though there were only like 2 games. There were only two
Yeah,
games.
there was 2 games, but it doesn't matter. It's the NBA, and
Yeah.
anytime you get LeBron James in an opening day, it's destined for greatness somehow. And
Too. And they just won the championship. So
yeah, and Boston was playing too, and yeah, it was just not the best scheduling, I will say, but I mean, there's not much you can really do with that.
now, staying on this topic, Carter, let me ask you this question. There are some people who deal with the issue of blackouts. Are you one of those people who deals with those regional blackouts sometimes?
Yeah, 100%. I was trying to we were trying to watch I think it was on Canadian Thanksgiving. We were trying to watch, I think, a Ottawa game or something, and it was on TSN 5, which is only in Ottawa. So we can't get those games, obviously, which sucks, because when there's hockey on and it's the only game on, it's what you want to watch. And it sucks for viewing, but at the same time, I understand it.
Right.
As far as for the Frozen Frenzy, I have no idea. Most of my streaming, whenever I'm watching games, typically is not legal, but that is neither here nor there. But yeah.
Yeah, again, it's something that a lot of people do deal with. Like, you'll see people that will be in like Arizona, for example, and they want to watch Utah or Vegas, and they can't because it's a regional blackout, which doesn't make sense at all. And you would think with all these streaming services and all these things you can do, there will be a way to get around that, but there isn't. Like, still somehow you can't watch a game of a team that's not even in your state because it's regional and it's a blackout. Like, I don't understand that at all. Excuse me. And in these days, like, let me read off just some of the different channels that are used from all the teams in the league. Victory Plus, you got Bally Sports, which is turning into FanDuel Sports, believe it or not. You got a lot of networks in Canada, NBC Sports, Philadelphia, even though NBC is pretty much done with all that. There's still a few. I know San Jose does it. I know Philly does it. There's a few. Chicago does it, I believe. There's a few different places that have NBC Sports still. Then there's TNT. Then there's ESPN. Then there's, apparently Amazon is getting games now. Carter, did you know Netflix is getting NHL games in 2025? Like,
yeah,
the amount
of money that people are going to have to start pouring into streaming services. This isn't even just an NHL thing. This is like a sports thing in general. Like, I was like, in order to watch every single NFL game this year through all the different subscriptions that you will need, it was going to cost you like $1,000 or something like that, or like $100 a month. Let's just call it $1,000 or something. It was ridiculous. It was like $600, and it's like, I'm not spending $600 to watch games like this. No, I hate it. It sucks. Like, I get that it's hard with all the regional games, and especially when you have, 32 teams, it's hard to get every game national. You're not going to do that, right? But
obviously, but
there's got to be a way that you can get every game at least on one. Here's my thing. If NHL charged a little bit more for their, let's say NHL starts carrying all these games, right? And let's say the NHL has its own broadcast of just, it's strictly NHL. Like, it's not like, you're not going to get Jets home announcers. You're not going to get whatever team they're playing announcers, right? You're going to get NHL announcers who are NHL affiliated, NHL.com, and it's that. And they charge an extra, and you can get any game anywhere. Now, I don't know how that would work, obviously, because, Sportsnet's going to have their own contracts with the Leafs and all these other Canadian teams, right? So there's all those contracts you got to work out. But I think it would be something great for the game. I think you're going to get fans viewing, their favorite players every night. Like, there are some times where I'm like, I want to watch hockey, but none of my teams are playing. And it's like, McDavid's playing or Matthews is playing, right? And I want to watch them, but I can't because of regional stuff, right? So I think it'd help, one, get hockey fans continuing to stay invested because they're able to check out so many different games and not rely on YouTube highlights the next morning, right? Because there's people who just want to watch every game, right? And it sucks that you can't always get it until playoff time comes around. That's when you get every game. But I mean, I think it'd be great for the game. It'd be hard to figure out. But yeah,
What
that's
really
kind of
sucks
my
too-
take.
Yeah, I'm with you. What really sucks too is like there are a lot of people who have to resort to those illegal sites. And
Yeah.
we all know those illegal sites. Carter, I'm going to be honest with you. I got a Colorado versus Utah game on right now. Guess what I'm watching it on?
Stream East.
Yes, exactly. So, like, you have to resort to these things because you're charging so much and making us go subscribe to all these different things to watch games. Like, we live in the year 2024 and we have to go buy all these different streaming services, and we have to deal with the fact that there's possibly blackouts too, even after we buy these things. Like, I don't understand how we're in a world with such modern technology, and I sound like such a boomer right now, but in a world with such modern technology and we're still dealing with these issues, I'll never understand it. But yeah, I know we kind of went on a little bit of a tangent there besides like talking about the Frozen Frenzy, but going back to that, yeah, again, they just got to do better at marketing it and they got to choose better nights to do it, to be honest. And I know, like, honestly, either way, it's going to be hard for it to grow because it's hockey. And, you know, what, you have football on Thursdays, sometimes. Do they do foot? No, that's college football on Saturdays. You have football.
It doesn't matter. College football is still going to reign supreme. It's going to range higher than the NFL.
Yeah, you have football almost every single day, and I understand that's difficult. And then you have to factor in the NBA, and then at this point, the MLB playoffs too. But you got to find a better day to do it that isn't on such like an insane day. Like, I don't know who in the marketing team decided to look at the NHL schedule and then not look at the NBA schedule and be like, oh yeah, let's do one of the biggest events of the year. I guess one of the biggest events of the year at the beginning of the season on NBA opening night. Like, I don't understand that at all. So
here's one thing that I kind of want to run by you. I was thinking about this recently because obviously, you know, they had it this early in the season, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know Frozen Frenzy was happening this early until probably about like a week or so before it started, and or maybe even a couple days. And I was like confused by it. I was like, why are they having it so early in the year? What they should do is have it around March, a month before playoff time, where games are going to actually really start to matter. We're going to see players on new teams. Trade deadline's already passed, right? So the games are going to matter, and you bank them off by like divisional matchups. Like, you're going to have Central versus Central. You're going to have Metro versus Metro, stuff like that, right? Where the implications are going to matter. Now, granted, you can't do like, oh, we're going to put the top two teams together. No, because you can't organize that, right? So I think that they should make it for March. You can put it on Saturdays because once college football is done, Saturday is wide open for hockey. NBA doesn't usually play on Saturdays. Sundays are going to be open. Fridays, Thursdays are going to be open. You're going to have so much open slot. You're just competing with the NBA, right? You might have spring training catching up by then, but no one really watches spring training anyways. So I think you put it near March, about a month before playoff time. So the games are going to matter. People are going to be more invested because you have all season to follow these teams and follow these players. And who knows, maybe there's implications on the line, or maybe you're going to be like, oh, like, what if by next year this game is Ovi needs 2 more to break Gretzky's record? Like, that's something you can market right there, right?
Yeah.
So it's something the NHL should take a look at, and I think putting it later in the season would make for some higher stakes and some higher implications. But I'm not on the NHL marketing team, even though I feel like I'd kill
it. Why didn't you major for that? Come on.
I mean, I probably could, but I don't know how to. I'm not one of their schedulers. I feel like, honestly, scheduling seems like so like they probably have it automated by now, but at the same time, it's like before that would be so hard because you're like scheduling and you're like, okay, we're gonna put them this. Oh, nope, doesn't work. Let's do this team. Nope, doesn't work. And it's like, I feel like that in itself is just a struggle.
Well, first off, you got to balance it with the NBA. Like, that's the
that's the hard part too. Is you got to look at all these other sports and you're like, fuck. Well, It's like, oh, we're gonna put the top 2 teams on us. Oh no, it's Super Bowl Sunday. We can't.
Not only that, but with the NBA, a lot of the NBA teams play in the same arena as the NHL teams, and then there's other events correlating with that too, so you got to work all that out.
Like
it's.
I'll be honest.
I
side with the schedulers on this because it is a challenge to do. I'm not saying it's like easy to do, but if you get the blueprint down, you get that part down, like you could probably figure it out. We
give them a lot of flack, but like their job.
It's a hard job. It's a hard job.
And like not only that, like you got to manage it with everyone. You have to also make the schedules like fair too, accordingly.
Yeah.
Like, you got to make it so like, oh, you know, this team doesn't have 10 back-to-backs in November and December. Well,
or it's gonna be like the Islanders where they didn't have an arena. Oh, we're gonna throw this team on a 10+ game road trip. I mean, they did do that to themselves, but at the same time, it's like you got to prepare for that, and it's like, oh, we got to throw them on a 10-game road trip. Like, what do we do now?
They did that to the Yotes with Mullet. Like, they didn't play their.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was like our first year of NordCast. They didn't play their. First
game. Well, didn't it happen to the Islanders recently too?
Yeah, when they first got UBS, I remember like they were a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
I remember they went on like, what was it, 21-22, where they went on like that massive road trip.
Yeah, they were on like 10+ game road trip. And I'm like, dude, like you think about it like at the time and it's like, dude, but like, it's like, damn, that sucks. But then you look at it from a scheduling perspective and you're like, holy fuck, we got to put these guys on a 10-game road trip.
Yeah. So again, we give them a lot of flack, but Carter, going back to the Frozen Frenzy as we tracked off again, how about you just put in multiple of them? Like you put in one at the start of the season, you put one in the middle, then you put one at the end. Like I love your idea with putting one towards the end because imagine with like a few days to go in the season and you have so many, you have like, let's say like we have the Metro battle last year, like with Pittsburgh and, you know, Philly and all that, and them fighting for it. And then you have that fight in the Central with Vegas battling with St. Louis and the Kings battling for that.
That's Pacific, not the Central. Nice one.
Well, I meant West Wild.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but like again, like imagine you had all of that implication lying on one night. You would get a ton, and especially too because the NFL's not going on, the NBA's not, or well, the NBA is going on, but that's all you have to compete with. Like, come on, like I don't understand them sometimes. It feels like they take the lazy route instead of going the actual smart way. But again, we're not schedulers, so we can say all we want, but we're not.
I get to sit here and say everything behind a camera and a mic, and I don't have any repercussions in the real world so far.
Yep, no consequences. All right, let's move on from that, Carter. Let's talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. All right. This is something that it's a touchy subject. It's a touchy subject because this team has been very frustrating through the first couple of games. We saw last year this team, and even like in years before that, like Carter, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like in previous years, the Flyers always got off to a good start. No matter what season, whether we were ass or we were good, we always get off to a decent start. Like, we would always be okay for the first couple of games, not this bad. So they currently stand at a 1-5-1 record. They have 3 points. They've only won one game, and that was their first game of the season in a shootout, I think. A shootout. I think it was a shootout. To the Vancouver Canucks. Was it overtime? I don't even know.
But I'll look. Keep talking.
Yeah, so that's their only win this season. And I think that is absolutely, like, insane to me. Every other team except for the Sharks and the Predators have at least one win this year. And the Flyers, nope, they are amongst those 3 teams. So, yeah, Carter, we'll go game by game in a second, but how are you feeling so far this year?
There's a lot lacking on this team right now, and I think we're seeing it. We're not getting the goaltending that we should. I mean, I can't really say much on like the young guys. Like, obviously, I didn't expect Jet Luchenko to come in and produce at a high level right away. I was honestly shocked he made the team. So I'm not expecting much from him, but I will say I'm upset with Tyson Forster. He hasn't looked very good. He's got 2 points through 6 games. He was actually healthy scratched in their first game against the Washington Capitals. Joel Farabee looks like he's taken a step back. He's only got 3 points through 7 games.
Right.
Jamie Drysdale as a defenseman has not looked the greatest. He's dash 10. He had bad turnover in their first game, I think, against Washington, or maybe it was their second game. I don't know. But he's looked all right. He is coming off that injury and everything, so I'm not expecting too much from him. But our one bright spot is Matvey Mishkov, and because he's a point per game guy right now. He's got 3 goals. Like, yes, they're all on the power play, but it doesn't matter. This kid's 19 and he's scoring NHL goals.
That power play is garbage, by the way. Like that was horrendous last year.
Yeah,
he's making it so much better.
Yeah, so I don't know. This team there's a lot missing on this team. There's a lot that needs to be done. But I mean, I didn't expect them to be good this year. I did have them at 22, which looking at how this season's starting is bad. But I mean, we started good last year and crapped the bed. So maybe we crap the bed this year and end off good. So we'll have to see. But the one thing I will say is there's been a lot of people saying that Tortorella needs to be canned. Tortorella this, Tortorella that. Dude, this is not his fault at all.
Yeah. I was going to ask you that if you thought that Tortorella should be let go.
No, no coach in the NHL could turn this team into something amazing, right? We're a young team that just, 1, needs to find an identity. 2, we need our guys to start stepping up, and there's no one who can try and force it out of them probably better than Tortorella. So yeah, I don't think Tortorella is the problem. I don't think he's the issue at all.
What's really unfortunate is that there is a chance that he might get fired, to be honest.
Which is stupid in my opinion.
I don't know. I feel like with the way that the 3 of them, Jones, Briere, and Torts, have worked together, like in the media, publicly and privately, I feel like there actually might be a chance that he might not get fired, but he might move up in management and they might put someone else behind the bench.
Which I would agree with, too. I think that Tortorella has a great eye.
Yeah. I don't know. Firing him, I don't know if I side with that because it is early in the season. Last night, I was like, oh my God, let's fire Tort. But that was my raw reaction. Thinking about it now, getting a whole day to think about it, this team is so young. Maybe this isn't Tortorella's team because of how young it is. But I don't know. I feel like he's done a lot for this team already and already has a lot of good chemistry with these guys. I don't know why you would break that with just a slow start to the year. I will say this, though. That work ethic and that effort that we saw last season, I haven't seen that at all this year. And that might be because last year, Carter, like, we were not expected to be as good as we were. Yeah, we were not expected to be in the playoff spot by April. We were expected to be bad. And kind of looking back at that season, I low-key wish we were bad. We can get into that in another discussion. But again, I want to say that like this year, us being bad, like I had the Flyers 7th in the division. Carter, I think you might have had them 7th too.
I either had them 7th or 6th.
Yeah, so you were low on them as well. I wasn't the only one. And I think that, to be honest with you, and I know there were, and I've seen people on Facebook, I've argued with them. I've seen people on Instagram. I've seen people say that I'm tired of this team rebuilding for so long. It's been 50 years and this and that. I think being bad this year is going to be the best thing that could happen to us. I'm just being honest. Me and Carter had this very unserious, maybe serious conversation at the beginning of this, before this episode started, that the Flyers were going to get James Higgins, Gavin McKenna, and Porter Matone, and we were going to have this super team. Now, it may not go that way, but if we do end up being bad this year, like, we have 3 first-round picks. We could quite literally set our...
Potentially this year, we have 3 first-round picks.
Potentially. Now, if Colorado or Edmonton at the end of the season finish outside of the playoffs and in the bottom 10, then we may have to like 2 picks next year. But
if we get Colorado 3 next year,
I think we'll get better. Yeah.
And with those 3 picks, you know what we do? Trade them all for the first pick and get Gavin McKenna.
I would love to see that.
After we get James Higgins this year, Gavin McKenna this year, James Hagen's down the middle, McKenna on the left, Michkov on the right. Oh, you cannot tell me that is not an exciting trio.
We're gonna have Oliver Bonk and Igor Zamula. That's gonna be our like future.
Oh my gosh!
Zamula
And then
was horrendous last
and then
night.
Bjornsson in net. Oh my goodness, this team is. I might pre-book my tickets for the 2028 Stanley Cup.
But anyways, what I was saying is that being bad is the best thing that could happen to us. Like, we could really set up our future here. Hypothetically, if we have 3 first-round picks this year, and maybe those picks are later on, and they might be in like the 20s or the late teens, maybe even the early teens if, Colorado or Edmonton can't pick it up. But again, we could really set ourselves up here for the future because think of it. We have Michkov as our cornerstone. If we can stay at this consistent level and not be that good, and I know there's people that don't want us to be good, and I know that, and I know that this is me speaking from a Nordic tanking situation. I'll get to my Nordic actually being good scenario in a second. But like hypothetically, like if we get a top 10 pick, we're gonna get a really good center because next year is like a really deep draft of centers. James Hagen being the number 1 guy. We could get someone like Michael Misa too, or a really good defenseman at that as well. Like, and then those 2 picks later on could set us up with some other good prospects, and we could really set ourselves up for the future here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we already have Michkov. We already have Bonk. Luchenko's already kind of proven us wrong. We already have a young core of Brank, Forster, this and that. If we can get another young player, Carter has his hand up, but if we can get another young player, this team's set. All right, what do you want to say, Carter?
All I'm going to say is don't say prove us wrong. I was already liking Luchenko when we drafted him. You were ripping it. I was optimistic, and I said, look, this kid's fast. This kid's a great two-way player.
Well, now I believe it. Now I understand it.
Now you understand. See, this, Nordic, I am never letting you talk about CHL players ever because you don't know anything about the CHL. And I said Jet Luchenko was going to be solid. And I mean, he hasn't proven it in the NHL, but granted, this kid's the youngest flyer ever. He's not even 18 yet. Or is he just over 18?
He is 18. He's actually, Carter, right now, he is the youngest player in the NHL. Games.
So you're not expecting this guy to put up point per game.
The fact that he made the team, though, is remarkable.
Which is remarkable, but it's also like, shit.
Yeah, honestly.
It's like, I know that probably when you saw it, you're like, oh, like this is awesome. But then deep down, you're like, are we just this bad or is this kid just this good? And I think it's that this kid's just this good.
He's been all right in the games he's played. He's actually been scratched the last few, which is why I think they're going to send him back to juniors at some point.
Yeah, I don't think they want to blow through his 9 games. That's the thing. Yeah.
So Luchenko is 18 years old and 64 days. 18 years and 64 years old. He is the youngest player in the NHL currently. The second youngest is actually Macklin Celebrini, 18 years, 133 days. So he's the youngest by far. And he's also the youngest player in Flyers history. So that is also very impressive. Excuse me, that is also very impressive as well. But again, I talk about tanking and this and that and being bad, but there are people that do want us to be good. There are people that want us to go back to the playoffs. Listen, it has been years since we've been in the playoffs. It has been almost half a decade. If we miss this year, it will be half a decade. It's been a long time. But again, I think that we give ourselves maybe 2 or 3 more years. Carter, I don't know if you can stand that. But you give ourselves a little bit more time to build up this pool. Maybe down the road we'll be good again. But again, I don't know. I don't really know why people were expecting us to be that good this year. Again, am I upset about the start? Of course I am. I want to see them play good. But from deep down as not a fan, but from a as a Nordic standpoint, that's the best way I can say it. That honestly, it's the best way that this is how it's going to be. It is. So, all right, to wrap that up, Carter, any final thoughts on the Flyers? Do you think they can turn this around?
Yeah, I think that the only way to go from rock bottom is up. Do I see us squeaking into a playoff spot? No. Would I like to believe it? Yes.
Yes, that's me as well, to be honest with you.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I doubt it. I mean, we're not the Edmonton Oilers. We're not going to come back from behind. But as long as Mitchkov keeps this up, like we haven't really talked about Mitchkov that much, but as long as he keeps this up, I'm happy. I'm happy to see the kid play well. And I mean like with a team that has been so horrendous, um, the last couple of seasons on the power play and offensively and all this. Seeing Mitchkov come in and be as creative as he is, even if he's like a liability defensively, and even if his skating is like subpar, I'm still happy. I'm still very happy. So hopefully we can actually build this team around Mitchkov, and Briere and Jonesy can do the right things, or else I don't know. We may waste this guy's career. But anyways, all right, let's move on. Carter, are we going to talk about your Winnipeg Jets next?
If you'd like to.
Okay, let's go to Carter's Winnipeg Jets. So we talked about the Winnipeg Jets in the last episode that we made. But the Jets so far this year are 6-0. Still the only team undefeated to this date. A little bit of an asterisk, they play Seattle tonight. So if they lose tonight to Seattle, this entire thing becomes irrelevant again. Carter's got his fingers crossed. Maybe we shouldn't talk about this. But anyway.
I don't want to because Seattle's a team that beat Calgary and ruined their undefeated season. I'm saying undefeated season as if it's like, oh, they're gonna go 82-0. No, it's not happening. And
Yeah.
you know what would happen? If by somehow they do go 82-0, I will not pick them in the playoffs.
They will lose in the first round.
I will pick them to lose in the first round. I don't give a I am not doing this again.
In 5. They'll play Colorado again.
Here's the thing. We could finish first in the I'm saying this now. If we somehow make the playoffs, I am not picking them to win the cup. I am not picking them to advance past the first round because I do not want to be clowned for a third year in a row. I don't care.
We need to like write this in pen and paper right now. We need to clip this.
I will sign a contract that says I will not pick the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay. I want you to do that right now. But anyways, going back to your Jets, Carter, can you read off some of the player stats right now? Who's killing this team right now? Killing it for this team, not killing the team.
No one is killing the team right now. The team is rolling. Mark Scheifele, he's got 5 goals, 3 assists for 8 points in 6 games. He has looked very nice, I will say. Nikolai Ehlers in trade talks all year, who I honestly probably said that we were going to trade him. That's neither here nor there anymore. This guy has looked unreal. He's only got 2 goals, but he's got 6 apples for 8 points through 6 games played. The Jets have 6 players at a point per game, which is very nice to see right now. We're getting scoring from every single line. Cole Perfetti, the new contract, is looking like an absolute steal right now, but at the same time, it also sucks because I wanted to sign this guy to a long-term deal. Now he's over a point per game guy, and you're looking at it like, oh my, the Jets are going to have to cough up a lot more money than if they would have just gave him the 8-year deal, which is what I said they should do. But that's besides the point. Josh Morrissey, who should be the head of Morrissey Mountain. Shout out Embion, Mike Bartner. He's got a goal.
On it, you sneaky Pete.
I did. You liked it. He liked it. I'm one of the 2 liked comments. So I'm pretty happy about that. Neil Pionk is also at a point or at 7 points as well. With both him and Morrissey are at a goal and 6 assists. Morrissey's at a +6. Neil Pionk at a +5. Kyle Connor is a goal shy of a goal a game right now. He's got 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points through 6 games. And I would like to give a shout out to the third line. Nino Niederreiter, Mason Appleton. I don't really know this team. Nemesnikov, I think, is playing on our 4th line, but he's got 5 points through 6 games. He's looking unreal right now, and I love it. Adam Lowry has got 2 goals, 2 assists through 4 games played as well. This team is rolling. There is so many good pieces on this team right now. So many players are playing at such a high level. The only 2 guys that do not have a point right now are David Gustafsson, who has played 1 game, and Hayden Fleury, who has played 4, and he is our defenseman. Everyone else on this team, I think besides goalies, have a point.
Which is very nice. Doing?
How are the goalies doing? Well, Connor Hellebuck has played 5 games so far. I like it, but at the same time, I don't want to burn him out. So I think they got to start giving him some rest because playing 5 through 6 is not ideal. Preferably, I would like him to play about 60 games and give Comrie about 20-ish. But because I think that by the time we got to playoffs last year, I think the big issue was Hellebuck was drained. He had played so many games last season and everything like that. But he is 5-0 right now. He's got a 1.4 goals against average and a 9.48 save percentage. He has faced 134 shots through 5 games. So again, you're doing the math at home. That is sub a shot per night. That is almost 27 shots a night. So sub 30 is what you want out of your goaltender. Now, going to Eric Comrie, I think that the Jets just said, well, you've been on our team so much and you've gone back and forth. We're going to test you. So in his one game, he faced 42 shots, but saved 39 of them. So he has a 9.29 save percentage and a 3.01 goals against average. He looked really good in that game. I think if the Jets tune down the amount of shots, he might let in just one. But a lot of the shots were from high danger areas, and he made them look pretty easy. So I'm liking Eric Comrie right now. I'm glad he's back in the Winnipeg Jets blue and that navy. So yeah, there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Winnipeg Jets fan here. So
yeah, I love how they're playing. The only concern that I have is that their schedule. Well, it's not a concern, but my only thing is that their schedule's been easy, which is, again, that's not a bad thing. They can't control the schedule. Again, like, we go back to the schedule makers. That's our job. But I think the fact that they're beating all these teams is impressive, and I think that they haven't played a lot of very really good competition just yet. That is coming though on their schedule. But I think that overall, you see the fact that they're beating these bad teams like they're supposed to. I think that's a good thing. I think it is. Now, in their game against Pittsburgh on Sunday, Eric Comrie started. Pittsburgh, obviously, I think actually started. I think Joel Blomqvist or Nedeljkovic, not 100% sure. But we'll get into that in a little bit. But Pittsburgh played Winnipeg on Sunday in Pittsburgh's little Western Canada road trip they're going on right now. And Carter, they beat Pittsburgh, or they lost to Winnipeg 6-3. And what were they chanting?
where's Rutger?
Where's Rutger?
Where is Rutger right now, man? That guy disappeared.
How are you feeling about that? How did that make you feel?
Very happy. Very happy. I think that one, that's a good thing to get out. I think we had to get that out of our system. Secondly, I think that's it's also not great because now that we've done that, Rutger didn't play. When he plays next year, if he makes the NHL next year, he's gonna have that animosity right there. He's gonna have that anger built up because they chirped me the first time. Let's go out and show them something. Now, I also think that's going to add a little bit more pressure onto... Oh my God, I'm already blanking on his name.
Jaeger?
That's going to add a little bit of pressure to Jaeger. It's like...
Wow. Forgetting your guy's name.
I knew what his name was. You got to let me get to it sometimes, and sometimes I can't. I think that's going to also add a little bit more pressure onto Braden Jaeger, just because it's like, wow, they hate this guy, and they brought me in for this guy because he was supposed to change them, and now I got to do it. But I will put a lot of confidence in Braden Jaeger. I love him. I'm super excited to see him in the Navy as well. But yeah, that's it's good that we beat the brakes off of Pittsburgh. So that's always fun.
Yeah, for sure. Carter, how long do you think this streak's gonna go? That's where we'll wrap up with the Jets. Does it end tonight?
No comment.
Okay. Yeah, he's not going to say anything because they play tonight, and we don't want to jinx anything.
I will not say a word about streaks or anything until something ends.
Something ends. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to. I think we got Pittsburgh up next, or is Minnesota up next in our plans?
Nope. I mean, we could stick in. I guess we kind of jumped from Metro to Central, so we'll jump back to the Metro here. We'll talk about.
We did
Pittsburgh.
just talk about Pittsburgh.
We did talk about Pittsburgh
situation. So Carter, we're not going to really talk about Pittsburgh as a whole. I want to talk about that goaltending situation. So let's talk about Tristan Jarry. Carter, can you read off Tristan Jarry's stats for me this year?
Oh, could I ever? We talk about bad goaltending here. Look no further than this goaltending group. So we got Tristan Jarry. He's played 3 games. He started in all 3. He's got 1 win, 1 loss, pulled in another one.
Yeah.
Now, he has a 5.47 goals against average, an 8.36 save percentage. Now, here's all I'm going to say. In 3 games played, I don't know when he got pulled in that 1 game, probably second period or something like that. But he has only faced 73 shots. Now, let's bring this back to math. That is about 20. That is if he played every single game, that is about 24 shots a night.
I'm still impressed with how you can do that in your head.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Right? Is that math correct? Yeah, that math is correct, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm right. That is about 24 shots a night. That is bad. And not to mention, the fact that he did get pulled in one is not good. When you're going up against 24 shots a night, you better let in 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You cannot have 12 goals on 73 shots. That's not good. 4 goals a game, you're saving less than doubling what should be scored on you. Doubling.
Can you fault the defense in this scenario? Even then,
I don't think you can.
Yeah, I know.
Like as much as you probably want to, I don't know if you can. If you're facing 24 shots a night, you got to NHL goaltenders, backup, starter does not matter. AHL, it does not matter. If you're facing 24 shots a night, you should it doesn't have to be consistent, but on average, you should be making those saves. Now, obviously, I'm not a goaltender. I'm just chatting out of my ass here. But still.
Jack thought you were a goalie?
Yeah, just because I was big and fat. That's
an early on memory of the NordCast.
Yeah. Anywho, back to me ripping Tristan Jarry here. Yeah, he did not look good. And as a goaltender in general, professional, consistently, if you're facing 24 shots a night, one of those should probably be a shutout.
Yeah.
Another one of those should be a 2-goal performance. And then whatever else, maybe you have a bad game, right?
Right.
But when it's consistently bad and you're putting up a sub 850 save percentage, his is a sub 8.4 right now.
Yeah. Through
facing 73 shots, that's bad.
Yeah. Just say this, every other goalie, around, you'll have a bad game. Every now and then you'll have one bad game. But as you said, he's been consistently bad through the games he's played so far. And as a result, he's not even the backup. Carter, he's not even the backup. He's been scratched the last 2 games.
And he was supposed to be their starter. Let's not forget. They got rid of Matt Murray for him, who literally won a cup. He won a cup there. Now, granted, Matt Murray has not been great in Toronto, but he's dealt with injuries and all this other stuff, right? Yeah. But they gave up a Stanley Cup champion goaltender for him. And granted, he was all right through the start. He looked decent. He was like, oh, maybe he could be good. No, he's not. He hasn't been good. Joel Blomqvist, on the other hand, he's been really good. Yeah. I've liked what I've seen out of him, and he's faced over 30 shots a night.
Yeah. He's been consistent. Again, Penguins, the blue line, you look at that, it's not that strong. Like, I mean, come on. Like, Carlson and Letang, like, those guys are...
It is
still-
more of an offensive blue line, I will say.
Yeah.
It is more of an offensive blue line, which doesn't always help the goaltender, but still, I'm going to take it back to the shots every time.
And I'm going to say this. Even though we're saying that he's been consistently bad, there's probably a percentage of these goals that he's let in that has been at fault by the blue line. But the reason why a goalie is there in the first place, for some of the reason, is because these defenders are going to make mistakes sometimes. They're going to have a play that screws up, and sometimes they're going to have to rely on their goaltender to make a save. Even in those situations where you're facing shots from the point and you're facing shots from like what seemingly is impossible angles, you're relying on saves from your goalie. And if you can't get that, then like you're shit out of luck. Like we've seen many times before, like, recently not as good of examples because obviously in 2022 they had Kemper when they won the Stanley Cup, Colorado, and then Vegas had Adin Hill. Now again, we're going from Pittsburgh, a team that many people have said is way past their prime, to Stanley Cup contenders. But again, like a lot of the time, you need a good goalie to make the playoffs. Just make the playoffs. Like, again, there is that rare instance where you have Colorado with Georgiev. And again, we've said things. I think we talked last episode about Georgiev not being that great. But again, you need at least a solid or a good goaltender to get you into the playoffs and even further than that. And Tristan Jarry, I would even say, like, Carter, I know you said that he was okay for a stretch. I would say even before that, like, he wasn't that great. Like, do you remember that play in 2021 against the Islanders? Like, yeah, I don't know.
I'm talking like when they made the switch from Matt Murray.
Yeah.
I think it was clear Tristan Jarry was going to take this team, but then he kind of had a season of good, and then that was it.
Yeah, by the way, Carter, they just signed him.
Yeah, not great.
They just signed him. They signed Jarry to what is this? Let me read this real quick. They signed him to a 5-year contract worth $5.3 million. And I originally said, I'm like, okay, well, maybe if he's running tandem with Nedeljkovic, maybe I could get behind that. But you got this guy for the next 4 years now. It's a horrible look for Tom Wilson. And on top of that, acquiring Erik Karlsson last year, which didn't work out for the team either. Like, they are really on the verge of missing the playoffs for the third straight season. Like, they are in a really not such good of a spot. Again, there's a lot of runway left in this season, but again, like, you see how Jarry's played so far, doesn't make you very faithful, to be honest with you. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on from that to, I think we got the Minnesota Wild up next here now. So the Wild, we're going from a team that was not so good to a team that has actually been pretty impressive in Minnesota. Carter, they have not lost in regulation yet.
Yeah.
They are I think they're one of 2 teams or 3 teams to not have lost, they're one of 4 teams, to not lose in regulation just yet. But not only that, Carter, they have not trailed in a single game this season. Now, what I mean by trailed is that they have not been losing at one point in a game in regulation at all this year. And never mind. So, little bit of an
right now,
little bit of a disclaimer. They played today and they were losing 2-1. So, I just want to say that real quick. I apologize, but they came back and won the game and won 4-2. So
it was only for about 7 minutes.
It was. So they were trailing for a little bit, but
trailing for 7 minutes through 7 games is like still really impressive.
Yeah, that's still terrific. Even
it's no 6 games and 0, but it's still impressive.
Yeah, it's still very impressive for sure. Again, they're 4-0-2. They have 10 points. They are actually second in the division, only 2 points behind the undefeated Jets. Carter.
No, they'll be tied with them now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Ooh, they are. I didn't refresh my page. Yeah, they're tied with the Jets now, so they're 5-0-2. Sorry. Carter, how's this team doing on the score sheet?
honestly really good. I think we all kind of the top two guys I feel like are guys that we kind of expected. Kirill Kaprizov. I mean, this is hang on. If I refresh it, will it show? It probably won't update for the stats from today's game. So let me add some stats from mainly the top guys. So Kirill just had a 3-point night, so that pushes him up to 13 points 13 points in 7 games. He's got 5 goals, 9 assists. Matthew Boldy, who has looked very good so far, he's got 10 points through 7 games, 4 goals, 6 assists. Matt Zuccarello, he got an assist tonight, so that puts him to 8, 4 goals, 4 assists through 7 games. And Marco Rossi has been off to a very nice start, and he continues his point per game as he gets an assist tonight to put him at 3 goals, 4 assists through 7 games played. I'll be honest, those guys have been looking really nice. That top unit right there has looked really good. Joel Eriksson, he's looked solid. I think he was injured for a little bit. Because he's only got 4 games played, but he did get a goal tonight for 3 goals, 1 assist through 5 games played. The team's looking really good. Brock Faber, he's still their best defenseman. He was wearing those his headshot is probably one of the best in the NHL right now with those little glasses.
Oh yeah.
It's really something to look at. Did he get a point tonight? That is he did not.
Nope.
That took so much time for me to figure out. He did not. But he does have 3 assists through 7 games played. Still very good for a defenseman. Yeah, this team has looked really good. I think really shocking a lot of people. I sadly did not have them in my playoffs. I dug into the Nashville hype train. Regret it now. I really like this Minnesota team. I think that every single year I've always thought that they're just outside of that playoff spot, and I think that this year they kind of have that. Boldy's taken a next step. Brock Faber's going to have taken that next step. Marco Rossi has looked unreal. Matt Zuccarello, guy does not seem to know how to regress. Yeah. I don't know what it is. He is like Sidney Crosby, just doesn't regress. He's really good. Now we're going to head over to the goaltending here, where we're seeing the young buck in Philip Gustafsson. He has been exciting to watch. He is already putting himself in a great case for the Vezina right now.
He is. He really.
Granted, we are only 7 games into the season. I'm not saying he's my Vezina favorite right now. Let's throw that out the window.
Yeah, I want to add to that before you read his stats. There was a lot of talk this offseason from a lot of people saying that there was a chance that they were going to move Gustafsson to get Wallstedt in there. There was a chance that was going to happen, but they didn't end up going that way. They're going to keep him. And then obviously it's Marc-Andre Fleury's last year as well. But read off them stats, Carter.
Yeah, so we'll start off with Philip Gustafsson. He's got 4 wins, 1 overtime loss through his 5 games played. He started in all of them, obviously. He's got a 1.4 goals against average and a .951 save percentage. He's faced 145 shots. And then he's stopped, obviously, 138 of them. So the defense has been playing really good for him, under 30 shots a night on average, which is very nice. Not to mention he does have a goal under his belt, which is always something you love to see from a goaltender.
Yeah. He does have a goal, that's right. We talked about that last episode.
Yeah. So he's looked really good. He's really making himself a case for the Vezina right now. I can't say I'm mad at it. I love Philip Gustafsson. As I said, I have him in every single fantasy team. Very, very fortunate to have him. Marc-Andre Fleury, kind of the opposite story. He did just play tonight, so these stats aren't updated. I could try and do the math on it. You know what? We're going to attempt the math on this.
Oh, here we go. Welcome to another math lesson with Carter.
I'll let you kind of talk about the goaltending here while I do this math.
Yeah, so I mean, again, there was a lot of consideration of bringing up Wallstedt because Wallstedt's had really good numbers with Iowa in the AHL, and they were really talking if Fleury was going to retire this year. Or last year I had a feeling that they were going to bring him up, of course. But again, I think that you see Gustafsson playing this well. If he can keep this up, like next season, they could have a really like goaltending duel between Wallstedt and Gustafsson, and maybe Wallstedt will have like that Yaroslav Askarov situation where he's like, I don't want to play for this team if I'm not the starter. But again, that's a whole different scenario there, obviously. But yeah, again, I mean, like the goaltending looks interesting and it looks very good, even though it is early. And I do want to say that it's early, so you don't really know how it's going to be. All right.
My math is complete.
Here we go.
So he currently has. This is with the updated stats of the game. I don't have his goals against average because you need to like calculate time on ice and all this other junk that I don't have the time to do right now. That is way too much work. But I would probably say he's at about a 3-4 or a 3 straight. We'll call it 3. He's at a 3 goals against average and a 900 save percentage, pretty much rounding. So he's been all right. He's been pretty good. He faced 34 shots in his first game. He faced 25 tonight. So on average, he's facing about 30 a night. But he's an older goalie. You're not going to expect too much out of him. He's kind of serving as that backup and that mentor role for Philip Gustafsson as well. But I think they're setting themselves up for the future nicely in Minnesota. Because you're going to have Philip Gustafsson, who's been mentored by Marc-Andre Fleury for the last 2 to 3 years. And not only that, as soon as Wallstedt comes in, probably next year, you're going to be able to have Gustafsson mentoring him, who learns under Marc-Andre Fleury, probably one of the best goaltenders of all time. So yeah, I think that they're setting themselves up nicely in this goaltending situation. So yeah.
Carter, I want to ask you this question when you were talking about Fleury. I highly doubt you have seen this, but I want you to go look in the Snapchat group chat right now. Have you seen this Marc-Andre Fleury t-shirt that the Pittsburgh Penguins are selling when they play Minnesota October 29th?
I had not.
All right, I sent it in the group chat. You can go take a look.
I see it.
That's nice. I like that.
It is pretty clean, and I find it weird that they're doing this after he's been off the team for so long. Obviously, because this is definitely his last year, so it makes sense.
This must be his last game in Pittsburgh, and they're doing
it would be for sure. It would be for sure.
Great marketing by the schedulers. Again, that's not in their control, but yeah, again, like going back to Minnesota, like they really do look pretty good. And again, we'll see how long this streak lasts. Again, like streaks are kind of a thing, like, you're always wondering, oh, when's it going to end? Is it going to end soon? I don't know. We'll see. But again, I think that Minnesota's off to what is a pretty good start, especially since last season they started off in not a good spot. So it's good to see them playing good out of the gate this season. All right. Last team that I want to talk about before we get into news and wrap up this episode, the Washington Capitals. So we probably could have done this after we talked about Philadelphia, but we're going to wrap up with Washington here today. So the Capitals, look like an absolute wagon right now. I got to be honest. They look really entertaining. They are actually third in that Metropolitan Division with a 5-1 record. They have 10 points. And they are, I believe, 8th in the NHL. They were 5th earlier today, but they aren't now. Again, they look just unreal right now. And this is a team that a lot of people doubted at the start of the season. They said, a lot of new players. And last year they were kind of, they still got into the playoff, this and that. Detroit should have made it over them, but they look good to start the season. They're playing pretty good teams as well. They played Vegas, Dallas, Jersey, and they beat all of them. And then, of course, in a back-to-back home with Philadelphia, they beat them in both times. So I don't know if that's much of a flex because Philadelphia is trash, but, And anyways, all right, Carter, I did a video on the Capitals today, but read off that stat line because, man, there are a lot of players who are playing really good on this team right now.
Yeah, so a guy I kind of mentioned around playoff time last year, I said Dylan Strome was going to carry this team. And in the playoffs, they got pumped, but I was still high on Dylan Strome this year. And he's looking unreal. He's looking like that second or third overall pick that he was in 2015. He's got 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points through 6 games played. He's their leading scorer right now. A guy that not a lot of people had on their radar, but I've kind of followed his career a little bit. I got his rookie card one year, and I was like, I'm going to start following this guy. And Connor McMichael, he's looked unreal. He's looked really good. He's got 3 goals, 5 assists for 8 points so far through 6 games played. He's looking really good. A guy who is now making a case for Team Canada in the Four Nations, Tom Wilson. Wow. I am shocked to see him at number 3 in the points. He's got 5 goals, 1 assist for 6 points. I checked. I made sure they did not mix up him and Ovi. But John Carlson as well. He was riding a 5-game point streak, as well as Dylan Strome. I think before their final game against Philly at home, both those streaks got broken. But John Carlson, he's got 2 goals, 4 assists through 6 games played, and then obviously Alex Ovechkin, 2 goals, 3 assists through 6 games played. And then one of their new guys, Pierre-Luc Dubois, who I am quite familiar with. He's got 1 goal, 4 assists for 5 points through 6 games played as well. He's also got 10 penalty minutes. Yeah.
How about Chikrin?
He's got 2 goals, 2 assists through 6 games played, and he's a +5.
That trade looks terrific right now.
It does. That trade does look awesome for them there. As well, Mangiapane, who was also recently brought in. I forgot he was recently brought in as well. He's got 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. He's a +3 as well, and he's got a shorthanded goal. Obviously, one of the ones against Philadelphia recently. I think that was him.
Yeah, I think he had one, because I know Protus had one, and then Mangiapane also had one. Yeah, that was annoying. But anyway,
yeah.
All right, Carter, they're doing a little bit of a goalie rotation down there in Washington. They got Logan Thompson and Charlie Lindgren playing the 2 sides. How are those guys doing? I know Thompson's numbers are a little bit worse, but he still looked good.
Oh, yeah. Well, Logan Thompson, 3 games played. He is undefeated right now. He's got a .328 goals against average and an .886 save percentage. But he has faced 86 shots a night, which again is less than 30, but it's not nearly as bad as Tristan Jarry. He has faced almost about 29 ish shots a night.
Yeah, time. He'll make a step.
Which, hey, we kind of knew that Logan Thompson wasn't going to be, this superstar goaltender for the Washington Capitals, but he's doing a lot with what he can. As I said, you kind of want to make sure your goalies are hopefully saving about 1 in every 10. And he's pretty close to doing that right now. He's allowed 10 goals through those games. Charlie Lindgren, though, through the same amount of games played, he's put up a .236 goals against average and a .905 save percentage. This guy's only seeing 25 shots a night on average, obviously. That's all he's seeing. He's allowed 7 goals to get past him, but he is 2-1. So he is not unbeaten like Logan Thompson. But both goalies have looked very good. I think that Logan Thompson deal is looking pretty good. And I think we kind of saw flashes of Charlie Lindgren last year, and he obviously got the start in playoff time. And that was his first taste of playoff hockey. And of course, it had to be against the President's Cup, or the President's Trophy champions. But he's looked good so far.
Pretty clear they want to run a 1A, 1B type situation there in Washington, and I think that it's worked out very well for them so far. Again, they're playing good teams, they're playing bad teams. They seem to be beating all of them right now. I feel like they're getting production from all 4 lines, even the penalty kill. They look really good right now, and especially for a team that a lot of people were like, yeah, I don't think this team's going to be that good this year. I think ourselves included. We may have had them coming close to the playoffs, maybe not being a bottom feeding team, but we still had them towards the bottom of that Metro. and maybe competing, but not making the playoffs. But I don't know. They're really proving us wrong here so far. Again, it's early in the season. It's still a little bit early to tell for some of these teams. I think maybe even like by next week, we might have a better picture on where teams stand. But seemingly, it seems like this year there's a lot more teams that weren't in the race last year or didn't have that hot of a start last year who are having a really good start to the season this year. So you like to see it personally. All right, enough of the Capitals, enough of those teams. Carter, any other teams you thought that were worth talking about? Any shots?
I will talk about a team right now, a team that has started off really slow but starting to figure it out. Colorado. They're starting to figure it out. Obviously, I feel like we kind of expected this. We didn't expect them to start off 0-4. But they have won their last 3. They have been absolutely rolling right now.
They're beating Utah.
Yeah, they're up 2-0 on Utah right now. Are we going to talk about trending players after news?
Yes, we will.
Okay, good. So I won't bring up any players right now, but after their overtime win over the Anaheim Ducks, they beat oh my gosh, they did not beat themselves. Don't worry, they beat the Sharks 4-1. They won a nail biter. Okay, well, not really a nail biter, but they won a game against the Seattle Kraken. It should have been 3-1. It was 3-2 because they scored with 5 seconds left. And now they're up 2-0 on the Utah Hockey Club. But they have really looked very good as of late. They're really starting to figure everything out. I think they're starting to click.
That's why you don't worry like that early into the season. Like again, yeah. Last year, like even with Edmonton, like Edmonton's 2-4 right now, but I think they're gonna bounce back still. Like even with them, like people jumped to conclusions and said they're missing the playoffs. They're gonna miss. They're terrible. They're trash. But like again, like it's not for me. It's not until you get to December and you get to like the middle of December and you're still not good. Then I'm like, yeah, I don't know. But I think with Colorado, we kind of doubted them a little bit early. Like with this win tonight, they will already move. They'll be in the top 15 when they get this win tonight. So honestly, that's why you don't doubt so early in the season with a team like the Avalanche too, with so much talent and so much firepower. That was my biggest thing. All right, any other teams you want to talk about?
Vancouver's gotten hot. They've won 3 straight.
Yeah, Vancouver looks good as well. I did see St. Louis. St. Louis looks very good. I realized
St. Louis does look pretty good. Rangers have won 4 straight as well.
I think they're losing tonight, or I think they lost tonight.
Actually. Did they?
Yeah, they lost tonight against Florida.
Okay, well, scratch that.
Yeah, they lost their first in regulation. All right. Anyways, let's move on from a little bit around the league. Let's go do some news around the NHL and hockey. So Carter, I want to start off with the Four Nations tournament. Have you seen the jerseys?
I have.
All right. I'm going to send them to the group chat again. I know you've seen them, but I want you to give your trash or cash. I guess we're going to do it that way. Trash or cash for these 4 NHL Four Nations jerseys. So we'll start off with Canada. Carter, kind of describe it a little bit since the viewers can't see it.
Yeah, it's like a very well drawn out maple leaf. It's got a lot of detail to it. Just kind of Canada in like a kind of cream color. I like this jersey. I think it looks pretty nice. I think it looks pretty clean. I will say, I wish that they did the white World Junior one that they have, because that jersey is one of my favorites in international hockey and just in hockey in general. I'm a big fan of it. I think it looks pretty good. I'll give it a cash. I like it.
All right. How about the USA one? Very bland. It's got the USA just written on it, some red and white stripes. Carter, I got to be honest with you, though. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like it's bland, but it still works.
It's bland, but it's clean, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of basic, but it looks all right. I wish they would incorporate... Oh my gosh. I wish they would incorporate kind of more of like a stars and stripes type look to it.
Yeah.
like something with a little bit more pop to it. But I mean, hey, this still looks pretty good. So I'll give it a cash. I think I give all these jerseys a cash, but those ones are clean.
Word. All right. The Sweden jerseys with the 3 crowns. Now, Carter, one thing you may not have noticed is that on the shoulders or on the sleeves of the jerseys, it's actually the Sweden flag. Let me see if I can pull up a better picture that I can show you. But I saw that on Twitter somewhere, and I was like, "Oh boy, that is clean."
Yeah, then that's really nice. I was gonna say this is like a basic Sweden jersey, just with like a bigger 3 crown on it. But it looks really good. The Sweden jerseys always look good. I don't know. Yellow I don't find works on a lot of jerseys. But on Team Sweden it definitely does. It always looks nice.
Yeah, I agree. All right, and finally, Finland got the
Again, clean. I will say the one thing that I find really weird with the jersey, it's still a cash for me. But how it just goes from white and then instant navy. It's
That's
weird, but it still looks good for some reason. I don't know why. It just does.
I don't know. They kind of cook with it. I can't lie. Yeah,
They
I'll
did.
give all these a cash.
Yeah, they all look good. Obviously, I mean, there's a lot that we could say we'd want to do with it, but at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lose my mind over it. They all look good. They all look clean.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, the tickets are available on October 29th. Carter, are you going?
I will not be attending. Sadly, it's in Montreal or Boston. It's a little too far for me. Um, they have it in Minnesota. I'll be there. Huh?
If it was in Winnipeg, would you try to go?
Oh, 100%. But the chances of it coming to Winnipeg are 0.0.
Yeah, that's actually true. Didn't they say that they're going to bring a draft to Winnipeg, or was it an All-Star game? Remember when
That shit ain't happening.
Yeah, I don't.
One of the challenges is going to be rollerblading downtown. Whoever comes back with the least amount of needles wins.
Oh my god, that's insane to say. Moving on from that, Shea Theodore signed a 7-year, $7.425 million extension with the Vegas Golden Knights. Carter, I think this is a great deal. You get him locked up to basically a 7x7. I think that's terrific. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but it's a great deal for me.
I love it. I like Shea Theodore. He's been a defenseman that I feel has been kind of undervalued by most hockey fans. I will say he hasn't been the healthiest player of all time. That's my only knock on him. He hasn't been the healthiest of all time. He played 55 games in their cup season. He played 47 last season. But this year he's played 6. But in those 2 seasons, he put up 41 in their cup year, 42 in their post cup year. And right now he is at 7 points through 6 games. I love it. I love Shea Theodore. I'm a big fan of his game. Yeah.
He really brings a ton of value to that Golden Knights defense.
He does. 100%. He adds a lot of value to that blue line for sure. I think he's probably one of their best defensemen.
Yeah. They have a pretty loaded decor too. Like Petrangelo's still there.
Yeah.
They got Hannafin locked up for the next 8 years. And then Theodore too. All right, so I want to read off the highest. This is the Vegas Golden Knights' Big Five. The Big Five players, the highest paid guys. So 3 forwards, 2 defensemen. You got Jack Eichel getting paid $10 million until 2026. You have Mark Stone being paid $9.5 until 2028. Then you have a big dip, and then you have Tomas Hertl getting paid $6.75 until 2030. And then you go to the blue line, you have Petrangelo making $8.8 million until 2027, and then Shea Theodore $7.425 until 2031. So, all right, it might be 2032. I might have that wrong. But anyways, I think that Vegas has done a good job locking up their core. We'll see how it is in the next few seasons. But again, I think that it's good how Vegas is locking up their big name guys. Let's move on to something else. A few injuries Robert Thomas is out with a fractured ankle. He will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. So big loss there for St. Louis. He's a really good, consistent forward for them. Eric Goodbranson is out long term. The club did not announce a timeline. He will miss a significant amount of time. We know he will work extremely hard during his rehab and will continue to be an important part of our leadership group. Additionally, Sean Dursey and John Marino are reportedly months away from returning. Dursey's out 4 to 5 months, and Marino is months away from returning. So that is 2 big blows to Utah's blue line, and especially since they're losing to Colorado right now, it's not a very good look. And their goaltending hasn't been exactly that good either, to be honest. Paul Maurice has signed a contract with the Florida Panthers. Again, cup-winning coach. We know what Maurice is capable of. I don't really think there's much else to go into there. Jake Neighbors, going back to St. Louis, signed a 2-year, $3.75 million deal. I love this deal for Neighbors. Neighbors last year had a pretty good season, scored a few goals with St. Louis in his sophomore year. Carter, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think this is very good value in a what is a bridge deal for sure, but in a world where the salary cap's going up, getting a guy who I think, had 20 goals last season for the Blues at under $4 million is pretty impressive, I would say. For sure. All right, and then last piece of news, all right, actually 2 more things. Oliver Ekman-Larsson was fined for an interference call on Jake Gensel. He was fined $5,000 for it. Now, Carter, have you seen the OEL play on Gensel?
No, but I'm assuming you just sent it to me.
I did just send it to you. That's exactly what I asked.
Oh. He does attempt the reverse hit. But he's not he goes for the reverse hit, he catches him in the face.
I wish I could see a better angle than that.
It looks like his elbow's a little bit back too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's definitely a fine, I think, but not a suspension, but definitely a fine.
Yeah, I think a fine is fair. And then lastly, the final piece of news that I have here, unless if I find anything else beforehand. Carter, have you seen the Vitek Vanacek jersey that has been going around social media?
The one where they misspelled his name?
Yes, that's exactly
classic fanatics, man.
So apparently in a game, it was a few days ago. I think it was against Colorado, actually. Vitek Vanacek's name was spelled wrong on his jersey. Now, Vanacek's name is spelled Vanecek. The name on the jersey was Vanacek. I just don't know how you make a mistake like that. Like, how does this jersey get past like the reviewers or whatever, whoever looks at the jerseys before they go to the players and was like, yeah, this is great. So never seen that before. I don't know if you've seen an instance like that before, at least in the pros. You have. What's another?
It has. I can't remember who it was, but there was a player who had his name misspelled too. I can't remember what it was. I'm going to see if I can figure out who it was. I know Vanacek. All the ones. There's a website dedicated to this.
What? Get out of here.
Okay, well, not really. It's just like, okay, never mind. This is not very good, but it's recent. I have no idea. There was another player. I can't remember who it was.
It's happened before. That's the best we can say of it right now.
I think it was Chason.
Seth Chason?
Yeah, Chason has been misspelled.
Okay.
It was CHAI instead of CHIA.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's happened before to where I'm not surprised where it happens, but it's not Fanatics' fault. It's the people who did the jersey for him misspelled.
Yeah, it kind of is, to be honest. It's a little ridiculous. All right, Carter. Trending players. I got one.
Yes, I got one.
I want to give a shout out to Sergei Bobrovsky. He is the fastest goalie to reach 400 career wins in NHL history. Only took him 707 games played. He is also the first Russian goaltender to reach this milestone. So a nice little trending player there for you. That just happened. That's cool.
That is definitely impressive.
Yeah.
My trending player is Cale Makar. My God, has this guy been on a different level this season?
Cale Makar?
Oh my gosh, he's leading the league in points right now. He is pissed he did not win the Norris last year, and he has been absolutely dominating so far. He's got 3 goals on the season now. This is without what's happened tonight, so it's subject to change. But he's got 14 points right now. He's looked unreal. He's oh my goodness. I can't even say enough about this guy. He just looks unreal. He's the best defenseman in the world. He's the best defenseman. He might end up going down as the best defenseman of all time.
I don't know about that.
It's a hard thing to say this early, but man, you can't.
He's already a Hall of Famer. Like, he's already a lock.
He's a lock for the Hall of Fame. I think even if he regresses a little bit, he's still elite. Like, how old is he? He's like 24, 25, right?
Yeah.
He's okay. Well, he's about to turn 26 years old. He turns 26 on the 30th.
Yeah.
But still, he's got 350 points through 322 games as a defenseman. Let's not forget that. Like, I get it. He's playing on Colorado, the best team in hockey for the last couple years. But if you want to tell me that every single season, other than his rookie year where he was 5 points less than a point per game, and he has put up a point per game in every single season, that this guy could not go down as one of the best defensemen of all time, I'd be laughing in your face. I think he has the potential to do it. Ooh. Will he? I don't know. My take is maybe we'll come back and look at this as the podcast is still going, but Cale Makar will end up probably going down as one of the best defensemen of all time.
Probably. He looks in that way. Like, he's going to win at least, I would say, 2 more Norrises. He already has a cup under his belt. He has a Conn Smythe. At least 2 Norrises. Just like he looks, he really honestly could become the best defenseman of all time. Someone just walk in on you?
Yeah, my dog.
Oh, hello. Oh my goodness. All right, I got a trending player.
Scared me. I'll let you do your trending player. I gotta deal with this thing.
Trending dog is Carter's pup. So trending player, but not in a good way, is Zach Hyman. There have been a lot of references on Twitter of people referring to him as secretly James 007 Bond. He has 0 goals, 0 points in 7 games played. Hyman, especially last year, he had 50 goals last year. Seeing him be scoreless through 7 games played is not a great look, I must say. So overall, that is not a good look whatsoever for him. All right, Carter, do you have any other trending players that you thought of? I'm trying to think. I know there's one that I'm forgetting. Ooh, I got one. Carter.
Go.
All right, so this one's not in the NHL. He's actually in the Western Hockey League. He is the 2027, 2027 NHL projected number 1 pick.
Is it Landon Dupont?
It is Landon Dupont.
Oh my God.
Today, there was a stat that came out of the CHL exceptional status players in their first 11 games. And I want to read you this list. You have Connor Bedard at number 1. Through his first 11 games played, he had 20 points. Then you have Landon Dupont with 16 points. Then you have John Tavares with 16 as well. Then Michael Misa with 15. Connor McDavid with 13. And then I think down there in faded font is Shane Wright with 9. But keep in mind, Landon Dupont is a defenseman.
He's unbelievable. I don't know if you watch Western Hockey League games. I sometimes do. I'm not gonna lie.
To be honest with you,
he is a different level. He is one of the best. His skating is unreal. His playmaking ability is unreal. Like, it's ridiculous. His defense is good too. Like, it's crazy. He is. Oh my goodness. He is 100% going to be a top pick. Number one, probably right now. But I don't know what American is 2027, because every year I feel like when Canada has like some crazy prospect, there's an American right there. Like, it's nuts. So I don't know who it is in 2027 who's going to come out of the woodworks out of US or out of Russia or Finland, or who's going to be there. But Landon Dupont is going to be on everyone's radar for the next 3 years.
He's gonna be the number one pick.
Oh, 100%. He's unreal.
Yeah, so I thought that would be pretty cool to talk about, some WHL action. We really don't talk about that much about the WHL or the AHL or any other leagues like that because, we're an NHL podcast. Does kind of suck. We really should do some more of that, Carter. We should do like a
Is that gonna be my new subject? As
we should do like a WHL corner. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or like a CHL corner, since you're big with the CHL.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I think that'd be a good idea. And then one more trending player that I have. I don't know if you have any more, but Matt Rempe has been sent down to the AHL. Just a little shout out to Matt Rempe as a trending player. That literally just happened. I don't know if that's good enough for a trending player, but I'm putting him in there. I don't care. All right.
Oh my god.
Do you have any other trending players? I got one more thing that we'll wrap up with.
I got one more that I'm gonna give a shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my favorite draft picks.
Ooh, that's right. I forgot about him.
Kevin.
I saw that today.
Oh baby. He 4th round pick of the Jets this year, named captain. I think he's the first Chinese Canadian to ever be named captain of a junior team. I think that was the stat I saw.
Let me see if I can find it.
Doesn't matter. 9 goals, 9 assists through 9 games played, 18 points. Holy, and this guy was a 4th round pick, looking like an absolute steal for the Winnipeg Jets. I am happy that he is on this team. Oh baby.
It really is a terrific story.
It is.
Like,
He's looked really good so far. I've paid attention to some of their games just because of freaking Kevin He.
Honestly, he's Kevin Him right now. I gotta be honest with you.
He is Kevin Him.
He is Kevin Him. He's looking awesome, for sure. All right. Oh, I found it. He is the first Chinese-born captain of a Canadian junior team.
Yeah, ridiculous. It's awesome. It's so good to see.
That is indeed awesome. All right, Carter, I got a game to end off this episode. So as I said, and it's a little bit of a history one, so you gotta bear with me here. So we talked about Sergei Bobrovsky. He is the goalie who took the fewest games to win 400 NHL wins. Carter, can you guess the 5 goalies below him?
Below
Sergei Bobrovsky, who was the fastest to win it. So I'll give you a couple hints. This is a little bit difficult.
Okay. So he was the fastest?
Guesses. Just list off some really good goaltenders.
Oh, God. He's... Hello?
You froze. All right, you're back.
Yeah. Okay, so he was the fastest.
Yes, he was the... Did you not hear a word I said?
Okay. No, I did. I was just making sure I heard you right.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so he was the fastest, and I got to do the 5 below him. All right.
Yes.
Let's go.
4 of these should be so easy. The other one might be a little
Okay,
bit
we're going to go... I'm gonna get the... Martin Brodeur. Is he there?
Martin Brodeur is there. He took 235 games.
Okay, we're going to take Martin Brodeur. We're going to take Patrick Waugh.
Patrick Waugh's in there as well, 753. He's 5.
I'm going to say Carey Price.
He is not in there.
Okay, wow. All right, this is where...
I don't know if Price even has 400 career wins.
Really? Okay.
Let me look.
Okay, I'm going to say Marc-Andre Fleury.
Marc-Andre Fleury is on there. He is number 2, so you got
2
more. You got 3 of them.
Or Are they active?
No, they are not. Yeah, Price doesn't even have 400 wins. He has 361.
Really?
That's kind of surprising. Well,
How many? 360?
it's 361. You also got to consider that like he's been hurt the last 3 years. If he was healthy,
I have.
he would be on that
Yeah,
list, probably.
for sure. Okay. So I've got damn.
So you got 2 more. One shouldn't be that difficult. The other one,
Yeah, but I don't know goalies.
pretty hard.
So none of them are active.
Nope.
I don't know. Give me a team.
I'll give you a division because if I give you the team, you're gonna know it right away. Actually, no. I'll give you the team for the one that's hard. Detroit.
God, I am bad with hockey history when it comes to goalies,
You're bad with hockey history when it comes to good players.
dude. Feel like I know. Oh, I feel like I know who the goalie is, but I just can't. I don't know.
You want me to give you the one?
Yeah,
All right,
I'm gonna hate myself.
Chris Osgood. You don't know who that is, do you?
I know who it is, but I wouldn't have said him. I wouldn't think of him for Detroit.
All right. Well, this last one you should get. He had the record previously. He hit it in 2017 in 727 games played. He is one of the best goalies
Pecorine?
to never win a cup. Not really.
This does not.
It should help. Think about
It doesn't when I'm an idiot.
He was one of the best.
Oh, Luongo.
No, not Luongo either.
No?
He was one of the best goalies in the 2010s. He even got his team to a Stanley Cup final at some point in the 2010s.
No. You're making me. Okay, let's go through every team that.
Here. I'll give you another hint.
No.
Okay.
I'm figuring this out. We are gonna have to cut like 5 minutes of silence here.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. Oh my God, Colorado's up 4-0.
Ben Bishop? No, he's got a cup, doesn't he?
No, not Bishop.
He's also not even close to 400.
No, he didn't even play.
Why would I say? Let's forget what I said.
I'm surprised you haven't gotten this one. I'm really surprised.
This is
I
bad.
really have this guy stumped.
Connor Hellebuck.
It's not Connor Hellebuck.
Okay. Okay, let me try for real. So you said he got his team to a Stanley Cup final?
Yes. But they didn't win. Oh my God. You look
Not Pecorino.
You're gonna feel like such an idiot if I have to tell you.
You're not gonna get to tell me. You're cutting as much silence as this takes, man.
Oh my gosh. Going on like 10 minutes here.
Guys, this is bad.
Do you want one last hint? Or do you give
No.
Okay.
I'm figuring this out if it's the last thing I do.
All right. I guess it might be the last thing you do.
It is gonna be the last thing I do. I can't. Holtby has a cup. Boston. Oh, Tim Thomas would have been a cup. It's not him. It's not Pekka.
Oh my gosh.
Who's 2011? Jonathan Quick has a cup, so it's not him.
Not quick. Nope.
I know. This is so
so bad.
You're gonna feel so dumb when I tell you.
How can I not get this right now?
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. How
This is so bad.
This is really bad.
It's 400 wins. It hasn't been done that much.
And it's such a recent goalie too. Oh my god. Might have to tell the people to skip to
As
it.
much as I want you to tell me right now, as I'm gonna rage if you tell me.
I should really time him, to be honest.
I'm thankful you're not, but I mean, you're going to after, because this is bad.
This would look pretty horrendous.
Dude. Let's go through. Jonathan Quick? No.
Nope, not quick.
No, sorry, I meant not Gibson, because he hasn't got to the cup.
No, it's not Gibson. Oh my god. Oh my god, Carter.
This is so bad.
All right, I'm giving you 2 minutes because you
Give me the conference. Give me the conference.
Eastern Conference.
Oh, that is even worse. Okay,
You've got it more than enough time. I'm giving you 2 minutes.
Oh my fuck! No!
Did you get it? What is it? Who is it?
Is it Henrik Lundqvist?
Yes! Oh my god, Carter. That should not have taken you that long. Oh my god. I was really hoping that you were going to give up so I could tell you were going to like jump out that window even though you're in your basement. You were going to jump out that freaking window up there. Oh my god, that was like peak embarrassment. Oh Jesus. Oh my god. All right, well, that's where we're going to wrap. Carter, thank you. Great episode. Apart from the end, that was pretty brutal. Any final thoughts?
I don't even.
Now I can't even hear him. I can't even hear. Oh, now I can.
I don't even know right now. This is bad. This is bad. This
He
is bad.
So
This is
embarrassed. All right. What
don't
ends
even
episode number 76. Yeah, he's not feeling that great. All right. Thank you guys.
It's so unbelievably bad.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Hopefully Jack will be with us next episode. But anyways, that's a wrap for us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.